So yeah, intro. How do we feel about the intro? Oh, hey, Jonas.
Yo,
How you doing?
hey,
Hey, we're live.
how's it going?
It's good. How
Yeah,
was your quick run away?
it was about as quick as I could possibly make it. Was that you said run and I ran.
Run, two shakes, run back.
Absolutely. How we doing, man?
Good, dude. Thank you so much for hanging out. For those of you who
Yeah.
don't know, this is Jonas from ABC Reagents. He makes cool reagents for cool budget reagents for the Neptune Trident.
Well, automated testing systems is what I make it for.
Sure, automated testing systems, and
Yeah.
and I have some flexibility. So,
Yeah, it's
what's
been
what's new? We haven't talked.
what's new?
It's been about what? Oh, I
Is it
should have looked.
when was the Yeah, I know, I should have too. What is it, 5, 6 months since we talked?
Let's
Maybe even
pretend
7?
it's 6 months. So
It's been
what?
crazy, man.
Yeah, tell me about your crazy.
I mean, everything from just, big learning experience on, you start a new business. I've intentionally tried to kind of keep it slow, organic growth. I didn't want every last person to find out, such that it exploded. I mean,
Yep.
it's a company, me, myself, and I. I've since got some help from some family members, but realistically,
Pause for a second. For
yeah,
those who didn't watch last time, who the hell are you?
my name's Jonas Boozer.
And
Uh,
you do what?
I'm a chemist by profession. My
Yep.
my main job.
Hmm.
Yeah. Been chemist for, gosh, close to 20 years now at a pharmaceutical company.
And a
Real
hobbyist.
specific, and a hobbyist. Yeah, a
Yep.
hobbyist now of three years, 4 years or so. At least saltwater, freshwater for many years, but I've learned that doesn't count in our
It
saltwater
counts.
hobby.
It
It
counts.
counts,
It's
but
just
it's not
saltwater
really.
people
It's
they get all pinky up about their damn saltwater tanks. Come on. Freshwater
no,
was
no.
first, right?
True.
That's why I like the
So
idea
anyway,
of Magna. Right?
yeah, no,
Magna's a nice mix.
yeah.
All
So
right, so you're
chemist,
Jonas, you are a chemist, and you provide reefers, hobbyists, with an
yeah,
alternative for their automatic testing device.
yeah, yep. For those who didn't watch on the first one, basically, I had purchased a pretty cool automated testing system. Didn't really like how much the reagents were. Took it upon myself to, figure it out and say, oh, I can make these myself for a fraction of the cost. Local fish store found out I knew how to do that.
Yep.
They wanted it too. Eventually, all of them were saying, hey, I've got some friends over here that want it too. Can you send them some? And it spiraled into where it is today.
Oh, and it
Um,
spiraled.
it spiraled. It spiraled up or down. I'm not sure which way you want to look at it, but it's
Well, hopefully you and the family got a little bit of a break over the Thanksgiving weekend. Yeah? No?
uh uh no, it was crazy, dude. I set the I mean, it was kind of like a thank you special to say,
Yep.
hey, thanks for being our customers. And for those of you who aren't, we're gonna offer two deals. We're gonna offer one for the hardcore customers who buy lots of our reagents. I was gonna give that concentrate kit at a
Yep.
ridiculously low price. And then the 2 month starter kit, right? At, again, a ridiculous price, to the point where, I mean, shipping cost me $8, $9 just to ship that kit.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I mean, we were busy. We
Well,
were busy.
that price was fantastic. I
Yeah.
saw that price and I was like, oh shit, wait.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Look at the savings off of even the sale price.
Yes. Yeah, we wanted people who hadn't tried it yet. Again, I didn't want it to go to the whole world. I think it was the first email that I actually sent out to my customer base,
Yep.
ever, was just saying, hey, here's a sale.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So it was
Uh,
fun. We didn't,
Ro-
we worked hard.
Rogue Aquariums wants to know where his crop top T-shirt is.
Oh, dude.
But he doesn't want a crop top.
He's got two shirts on the way with his concentrate pack. And I left the crop top out. So
That's unfortunate.
yeah, sorry, man.
You could probably get Sam. You could probably get Sam to wear a crop top for you.
He might do it.
How is
He
Sam?
might do it.
I haven't talked to him in a while.
He's doing all right. Yeah, we've done a good job of keeping up. You know, it's sometimes a couple times a week, but
That's
usually
awesome.
once a week, once every couple weeks, and he's been with me very, very useful in terms of friends, just
Yep.
inside for the hobby. He helped, I would say, promote me to do the concentrate.
Awesome. We're
The
talking about
concentrate
poor
came,
man. Talking about Poor Man's Reef over on
yeah,
Instagram and YouTube.
yep. Big shout out to Sam and Poor Man's Reef. Huge,
So
huge help to
pushed
ABC.
he helped push the dry product.
Yeah, I would say, you know, it was a combination of him pushing, saying early on that people wanted a DIY option. Um, and I had a lot of reservations about it because one, some of the chemicals are quite expensive unless you buy in huge quantities.
So
But the bigger,
his ask was recipe. So he wanted a recipe of sorts, and then we could go source our own stuff.
I mean, I think that was at its basic form,
Okay.
a DIY version. That's not possible anymore, obviously.
Yeah.
And yeah, the main hindrance of that not being possible is again the sourcing of those chemicals. Until
Yep.
you start getting at big scales, it's actually not economical. Um,
No, that makes sense to me.
but the bigger issue for me came down to one, safety, and then just the reality of the situation. I think a lot of reefers are more than capable of purchasing a high-end pH meter and probe.
Yep.
They're probably just as capable of calibrating and following directions in this hobby. But again, when you run a business and you sell a product, you have to do a calculation of, well, you know, what percentage? Even 10% of those customers who aren't able to do that starts to become an issue on the back end from a customer service standpoint. Um,
See, I'm going to do the easy thing, right? I'm going to go. I want to make
yeah,
sodium nitrate because I want to put nitrate in my tank. I can go get that. Well, I used to be able to go get. Maybe you can tell me why. I used to be able to go get that from Loud Wolf, but they have pulled sodium nitrate. But I can still do that, right? That's something I can do. I can go get reagent grade. As far as I'm concerned, that's good enough for me.
yep,
One step up from stump remover. That's simple. To
yes,
go do what maybe whatever to do what you're doing, I'm not going to do that because that's
yeah,
more complicated than I want to play with.
it is. I mean, yeah. In the end, making these reagents, there are certain things that absolutely need to be followed in order to have them be of high quality, reproducible every single time.
Yep.
In all transparency, I've actually been tweaking the recipe. I know in my first talk with you,
Mm-hmm.
I was mentioning, you know, my batch to batch reproducibility, which if I wanted it to be, could be, but I've intentionally been making certain tweaks because I want to make it better.
Yep.
And yeah, everything's been very intentional, but I still strive for what I would consider perfect. I was doing experiments today, this morning.
Nice.
And yeah, I mean, it's that part's still fun for me. So,
Rogue says, I don't know if you're watching the YouTube stream at all, but Rogue says that he has 2 Tridents and he's been using ABC since day one. The savings versus the OEM reagents is considerable. That's good enough, right? That'd be good enough for me. And we talked about
yeah,
this before. This this is the one thing that would make me go buy a Trident is the
yeah,
ability to source the consumables at a significant cost reduction and to support your family business because this is a
yeah.
family thing for you.
It's definitely a family business. I mean, I think what a lot of people don't realize though, which is quite challenging on my behalf, is we don't have to do this. You
Yep.
know, we have good jobs. We're making a comfortable living. I love my job. I
Yep.
literally go to my main job every single day. I can't, and I'm talking for 20 years. I can't believe I get paid to do what I do. I love it.
It's awesome.
Um, Newsflash, everybody, I actually don't like mixing reagents. I mean, it's it's not that much fun. That has actually turned into work. Um,
Good.
I like innovating. So
Yep.
making the concentrate, that was fun, right? That was strategic. I knew that if I could be successful at making a product, I could get it to all kinds of people all over the world, no matter where they were, at a reasonable price, and access, right?
Oh yeah, totally about
Yeah,
access, especially that dry. I mean, that
access.
dry product is, the value of that thing. My water is significantly cheaper than the OEM's water. I mean, I don't have to pay for water if I could just get your dry product.
You got it.
Follow some instructions, and I'm sure it's relatively easy. And I
Yep.
go for. I feel like a dumbass because I don't run a Trident and I don't run your stuff, and I really should, because that right. I don't want to. There's enough people around, like
Yeah,
they're in here talking about it, where I know it works.
yeah.
But one of the things that I really try not to do is talk about things that I don't personally do. In this particular case, I'm kind of comfortable with it because I know people that are using your product.
It's guaranteed to work. We have had so few, I mean, I'm talking so few, I can count them on one hand, issues that actually might have been and not confirmed to have been a reagent issue. Um,
Oh,
Almost always it's an instrument issue, which is very interesting. It's kind of a, I mean, I find it fascinating how much customer service I'm actually doing for this automated testing systems company. Not to mention, there's a lot of people who have bought more systems as a result of this. A lot of people have asked, like, oh, I'm surprised they haven't shut you down. I'm not quite sure what they would shut me down for,
right.
right? I mean, let's be real here. I've seen a lot of, I don't participate in the blogs and forums, but I've read a lot of them. I don't understand why we treat this hobby any differently than any other industry. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I'm talking every industry. And they think that, this one is somehow unique to competition and products and pricing. I mean, anyway,
That doesn't make sense, right?
it doesn't. It doesn't.
So keep talking, because Zoom's going to try to kick me out. This is the
Oh,
first time this has happened,
that's interesting.
but I'm gonna pretend that it's not gonna.
There we go.
So
Oh
you
yeah,
are.
I see it remaining. Yeah, yeah. It's doing that on mine too.
um, we'll try not to lose you. This will suck.
I guess we could always jump onto IG if we had to, right?
Yeah, we can move on to
Something.
something else. Let me see.
You let me know.
Let me see if I can save this,
All right.
because I'll do unable. You are ineligible to receive this offer and purchase this ad. Well, that's a jerks. Why? So what's next?
What's next? Well, I mean, to be completely honest, I mentioned the organic growth, and it's gotten to the point now where, although I have some help with my family helping out, it's still quite challenging to the point where I think I'm getting closer and closer to where my tap out point is, and I'll have to pass the torch eventually, or at least get some help.
Yep.
So I have been talking for a while now, but it's going to materialize really soon. Going to start collaborating with CoralView, and yes,
Well,
they,
you met at a show, yeah?
yeah, yeah, you somehow that I don't know who caught that picture. That was
I was watching videos. I was like, oh, I know that dude, and I know
yeah,
that shirt, and I sure as shit know who he's talking to.
that was quite sneaky that somebody caught that. That was an interesting picture, and
Yep.
you caught that.
It was totally unintentional. I think it was Aficionado Channel was doing a thing,
Okay.
and
Well, you're quite
and
observant.
and well, I mean, I saw the shirt.
Yeah. But no, I mean it's going to be good. It's going to be good for everybody. This is the only realistic way for me to one keep going with this. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to just stop and be like, sorry everybody, you don't get any more cheap reagents. Um, I want people to get them, but
Yep.
I also have to be realistic about my time and what I enjoy. I've got a family here. I've got two young kids. I've done a lot of sacrifices to make this happen.
You have.
I just recently broke out of the red. I mean, I had put a lot of money into this to make this actually a real thing. I don't think I'm not getting rich off of this.
Right.
And, in order to continue to grow this, I needed some help, and they are the right people to help me. I'm fully convinced of that. So we've begun collaborations. They will be helping out with wholesale distribution. To date, I've been doing wholesale orders with stores, but I'm not able to keep up with the demand. I mean, some of these people are wanting, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 6-month kits. And that would keep us so consumed on a regular basis that, that's just not where we're at.
Can you talk about how product change? What's going to change for the product?
Nothing from a price standpoint. As long as I'm involved, if anything, the price will go down eventually. As this scales, sure, we've got crazy inflation. My bottle costs have doubled in the last 6 months, and it's not an insignificant charge to the cost of the product. And I literally am holding my ground as firmly as I can. I will not increase the prices. If anything, they will only go down. That was another good motivation. The dry product, or it's actually dry and wet. There's a liquid component as well for the concentrate. But another part of my motivation there was I've been buying thousands of these bottles, and they're all recyclable. So if anybody listening out there, please don't throw those away. Recycle them. If anything, actually, I'm encouraging, if anybody has ideas for how to send them back to me, so I can reuse them. And if somebody has ideas of how I can achieve that, where I can give somebody a discount, or I'm totally all ears. It matters a lot to me. I don't like the concept of contributing to massive waste, even though these are recyclable. But anyway, the concentrate offers way fewer bottles. So that's another good route.
So you'll have to teach them. Hey, Rob, I paid up. All is well. We are unlimited now, Jonas. We're good to go.
Cool.
Please excuse my clunkiness. So you'll have to teach.
Oh, teach? I mean, like, hey, pour in this much water and stir it?
No, not the users. So will you continue to make the dry product, or will the dry product be made outside of your control, essentially, your oversight? No. But go ahead.
Yeah, for the time. Yeah, no, I mean, when I'm done with the business and when I'm literally going to pass the torch on is when I will share all of my learnings. And there's a lot of it, okay. I've literally, I would say, gosh, even up until today, I finally have a recipe honed in where my goal was to take a system, factory default, right out of the box, put my reagents in, and be so close without a calibration that you wouldn't know a difference. And on top of that, no expiration. So I've made very intentional tweaks to these to offer all kinds of extra stability and performance. And I'm not going to go as far as saying that they're better, but they're definitely equivalent.
Okay.
I mean, I'd like to think they're better, but.
So you're going to continue blending. You're going to keep doing your thing, and CoralView is just going to help with your distribution.
Yeah, and we're still going to. Yeah, and the distribution is they're going to be going to fish stores, right? To wholesalers. So we're still going to handle the website, all of the personal reef individuals, all of that.
Okay.
It's just in terms of actually getting it out to everybody in the stores, like we need help. We're tiny.
Right.
And I literally, my red line for this business is, if it grows to the point where where I feel like I need an employee, and I'm not far off. That I have to move on. There's other things I want to do.
In all fairness, you have employees. They just happen to be patient with you.
Exactly. In-laws, But I think they're having a good time with it. I don't know if they're watching, probably not. But they're having a good time with it, and it's been a fun experience for me and them. And
That's cool.
they're getting money out of it too.
All right,
They're
so
basically a fulfillment center. Yeah.
no, that's awesome. That's cool. You have that help. And
Yep,
one more before I get into bottles. You in trouble with the wife yet?
she's done an amazing job of. I mean, we got a newborn, right?
Yeah.
We lived out of the hospital early on here in this business for 3 weeks, which was crazy. She's been extremely patient, and I think she understands, like,
Awesome.
this won't be forever.
Yep.
But
So it's a passion thing for you, right?
Yeah, and she gets it.
Cool.
I mean, right now she's with both of them letting me do this, and
Yep.
it hasn't been easy. Let me just say that.
I got it. You're lucky. It's cool that you have support. That matters because I'm
Yeah.
sure you're busier than you had imagined.
I did not know what I was getting myself into fully.
Yeah, so I get it. Good problem though. There's absolutely a market for it.
Yeah, from a business standpoint, sure. And I think, honestly, I've probably just scratched the surface in terms of. Like I said, intentionally wanted to kind of slow cook this and organically let it spread word of mouth. And that was key. I have enough business savvy to know that, that would have been a really big screw up, is if the market was shorted with the product and I ever said, sorry, I can't get it to you.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that has happened. So Kyle asks, is the return address valid? So could users send the bottles back to that address?
Yes, absolutely.
And then Vince Loves Fish writes, return address label in the box, right? You'll have to factor that in the cost, of course, but
yeah. So that's the biggest challenge. So anybody out there who's mulling this over, the biggest challenge is really the shipping costs. And again, I use USPS flat rates. It's probably the most expensive shipping, and I'm sure the customers out there who have used, I get it to you quick. We're talking, you put an order in, that stuff's going in the box, and you're going to get it in a couple days.
Yep.
Which we take pride in. We take pride in our shipping. We take pride in our customer service, our response time, all of that. So there might be a cheaper shipping option in terms of the bottles, and I am not aware of it.
Yep. So yeah, people jump in right.
Yeah,
I've mined this business to figure out an easy way to get those recyclable bottles back to Jonas.
Yeah.
Ultimately, that'll save. I don't know what you could do the math on the bottles versus return shipping.
I'll tell you,
see where that stands. Yeah.
Yeah. It costs us over $8 right now for a 6-month kit in bottles and labels. Now that goes down with scales, but that's where we're at right now. And that's not insignificant, right? That's close to 75 cents per bottle.
Interesting.
And cap and label. It's crazy.
Several recommendations for pirate ship, something to look into. Those of you who are out there who are digging on Jonas's product, and you help them out, right? Sam's been a big help.
Yeah.
If you, right, I don't want to sign people up to help you, but I'm sure you'd appreciate the assistance.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super responsive. If somebody has an idea, I respond as quickly as I can to every last email.
Throw it out there.
If somebody has questions, suggestions, I look at this as somewhat of a community business. Granted, we're running it here, but, I started this and I'm doing this for the hobbyist.
Yep.
I was more than happy just making my own reagent for free with my several systems, right?
And then the word got out. Which means you were like, oh yeah, I can hook you up. You want some of this? That's what happened.
So you know what though? It's still going on. So Indianapolis, my local fish store where this all started out, and I'm not going to mention any names, even though I give them a ton of credit, but there's still the fear. I've heard of fish stores being worried about carrying our product because of the outlash from the other company.
Okay.
I don't know how real that is. Again, I'd like to actually think that in many ways, I'm actually helping them out. Um, again, from the customer service standpoint, over 90% of the customer service issues are instrument related. And I'm sitting there, I feel obligated to help them. I could
Yeah.
easily say,
Yeah.
I can tell exactly from what you're telling me that you have an instrument issue. You need to go talk to them. No, I sold them some reagent. I feel obligated to help them get it up and going
Yep.
and get them working. Um,
And in all fairness, I wonder what your reach is, right? I wonder those. I bet that percentage is your percentage is pretty low in terms of market penetration as an alternative reagent.
oh yeah. Oh, I can only speculate, but again, I mean, I intentionally don't advertise.
Yep.
It's all word of mouth. I still probably get every week, every few days, somebody saying, I had no idea that this existed. Thank you. Which is
Fun.
cool. You know what?
Yeah.
It's those customers who keep me going.
Yep.
Because there's been a few that have literally got me very close to saying, all right, that's it. I'm done. I'm done.
But it's a cool organic growth thing for you.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it's right, business. And then it's a cool move into a different direction by working with CoralView. Then it's whatever is after that, and it's just this nice slow. You get to own the control. You get to manage the growth effectively. So you could do whatever you want. You could keep it here. Well, you could do more. You're totally in control, which is pretty sweet.
Well, to a certain point, right? I mean, I can only control how much people talk to each other. And when I say there are lots of countries, I mean, we're talking, I don't even know, dozens of countries that I've sent to and several more. I've got to do research on I can't just add a new country.
Yeah.
Everybody has, there was one country, I'll excuse my ignorance, geography. It was somewhere in the ocean off of Africa, close to Madagascar. And, I looked at and I was like, man, I'm sorry, I can't get it to you. And I understand why, right? The environmental restrictions of getting things in, and, you can't just send randomly. So it takes a lot of time. I don't think people realize, like, you can't just ping me and be like, can you send it here? It's like, okay, all right, let me look into this.
Right. And more work.
It is. It's more work that my time is getting more and more limited as interest is and awareness goes up.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a teetering act, and unfortunately I'm getting close to. It'll be a necessity if this is going to continue.
Yep.
Which it will. It will. I'll find a way, and as long as I'm involved and have a say in it, I'm going to make sure that the prices are as low as can possibly be.
Phil mentions an interesting reef keeper. He mentions an interesting point. If you are really into reefing, you know about ABC. Everyone talks about it. My challenge with that is I think the social aspect of reefing is surprisingly small. I think the reach within social is strong. Like, that message gets out. I wonder what percentage of the hobby, the people who only think reef to reef is the only source of news for the hobby, right? I wonder what percentage of those people are using Neptunes, right? And they just have no idea, or they see the messages.
So, I can speak a little bit about that because I surf the World Wide Web, as we call it, and all of the reef forums. So Shopify is so cool. It shows me the forums that people are directed to. People share, and I'm like, oh wow, because all of a sudden I get massive spikes. Apparently, somebody shared a positive experience recently um, on the other company's homepage on Facebook, and I wasn't able to read it.
Yep.
They obviously declined my request to join their group.
Tisk, tisk.
Not surprising,
Mm-hmm.
but
Petty, but not surprising.
Petty, but not surprising.
Yep.
I mean, you know, they catch me on the wrong day, and I might just start sending every last instrument issue to them and just be like, yeah.
But then okay, so that's something we talked about on Reef Beef as well, is that so we talked a little bit about this on Reef Beef, and then Jonas and I talked about that before we jumped on the stream. But the sending them directly to Neptune. Neptune says, "What reagents are you using?" I'm using this cool dude Jonas's reagent. They're like, "Sorry."
I don't know how they. You know what? I think that's interesting. I don't know
it's
how
a
they're handling
sure.
that.
Mm-hmm.
That would be interesting to know, and because there's two things, right? Does the instrument have an issue?
Yep.
Do the reagents have an issue?
And people don't get the maintenance of the instrument. That's a thing.
Absolutely.
And people need to maintain
it's a thing.
That thing.
It's a real thing. They need
2 million
moving
reefing,
parts, blah blah, cleaning, blah blah blah. It's a real thing. I have gotten so good now at diagnosing what is going on that I have actually read forum on the Reef to Reef. I love it actually. Several times now where I'm like, oh, I know exactly what's wrong with their batch. I know exactly what's wrong.
Oh, that's interesting.
It is. Or, I mean, yeah, it's you learn, right? And I'm a scientist, so you have observations. And,
What do you do in those situations? Calmly smile and then keep scrolling?
I'm quiet in every situation. There's only been one time that I've ever responded to a person. It was somewhat recently. They were on some forum, a regional forum, and they had purchased the DIY kit. They did not follow the directions on the material of construction to use for the containers. It needs to be HDPE from a compatibility standpoint for long-term reasons.
Yep.
And I could tell on the pictures that they posted that they did not use that. So I looked up the customer because they had posted their order, and I saw the order number, and I said, hey, please, I want this to work for you. You know, just it'll still be okay, but go transfer the containers. So that I actually didn't post in the forum itself, but I got a hold of the customer.
Good.
Unfortunately, I don't know. I hope you're watching. Maybe you're not, but they clearly didn't listen. I sent an email and a text because somebody on the forum incorrectly said, oh, these reagents are sensitive to air and this, that, and the other. And so the guy went and bought these plastic bags, and it's amazing. It's amazing what this other company that you're mentioning that
Sure.
It's amazing how incorrectly they have trained a massive amount of people.
This is a hobby in general.
Dude, I'm not kidding.
Go ahead.
I'll let you talk, but literally, like, the number of questions I get that are basically silly questions, retraining people to get the fears out of their mind about how sensitive these are.
Yeah.
People ask me, like, hey, it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's the stories in reefing, and I suspect it's the same everywhere, right? Humans are humans.
Yeah.
But the stories in reefing they're fantastic. Like, I saw somebody bashing on a Neptune. No, it was they were bashing on the GHL Maxi, the original Maxi.
Okay.
And that doser, it's a 2-head doser, used exactly the same heads as the Neptune dose. Like, it's the same head, same motor, same mount, same everything, except GHL had one extra roller.
Just a peristaltic pump.
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah. And then this person was bashing on the Maxi, and I get it, talking about how they felt that GHL had Yeah, an intrinsic problem with the design of the head. And I'm like, I don't hear dose people complaining about it, and it's the exact same thing. What exactly was the design flaw that you know exists? And then crickets. And the dude didn't reply.
Dude.
It's the stories. People just don't get it.
Yes.
They don't look. They don't I mean, some do. Some get it. But
they live though. I mean, I would say that, you know, to add on to that, that's something that I learned early on too in the startup of this is these stories carry. And like you said, within this industry, in the hobby, it goes far.
It does
and
go
fast,
far. It's,
right?
It's a big
far
word of mouth hobby. It's like no data, word of mouth.
Yeah.
And then it's just like Reef Jesus spoke to you, and now I'm going to listen.
Yeah. I mean,
right?
So, I mean, I had some issues very early on with lids and leaking. I mean, I had to change lids real quick within weeks. The reagents were fine. Other thing that we had calibration solution. I learned a lot about that. I mean, actually, I'm at the verge where I almost want to take away calibration solutions. The most accurate, in fact, this is probably a good topic. Calibration solutions. If people look, if you have an automated testing system, you probably have some manual test kits. I'm guessing you didn't just go buy some $1,500, $2,000 system
right
before you started testing your tank water on your own. Maybe I'm wrong, but point being, that is the most accurate way to calibrate these systems. You test your water with the test of your choice that you trust, that you are deeming as the accurate.
I'll say two. I'll say you need to have two different tests. If you're going to do that,
absolutely.
Whatever. This is me, and I'm going to freak out about that. But I've had Hannah go off.
Absolutely.
Right? That reagent gets funky.
It does.
Two different test kits. I totally agree with you. But two different test kits showing a very close number. And then go. Sorry.
No, you're absolutely right. And so I do the same, at least to validate certain batches of a Hannah test reagent kit, for example. I've had a couple times where they've just had some bad batches, and I get it. You know what? I get it. So I'll have a Saliford or something to say, okay, yeah, no, they're in line. But my point being is calibration solutions. Especially the alkalinity is hard to keep constant. I had a big learning moment early on in this where my alkalinity was off on my calibration solutions, and I had to fix that.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. I can't figure out. So I can't figure out why using an alternative tester would leave somebody astray. I mean, unless they have bad reagent, right? And then at some point you need to be able to, I'm sure you've gotten better with your calibration solutions.
Yeah. No, it's at this point now, I mean, it's as good as the other company, I would say. Still though, I with my info sheet on every single order, I still say, hey, look, if you don't like this calibration solution, or if you think that it's inaccurate in any way, shape, or form, just measure yourself.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Measure your tank, and then guess what? Now you have a tank full of calibration solution. So that's something that would help me bring my costs down that I could then pass on to the customers as well. Because you can imagine, I've got bottles and time and this, that, and the other invested in calibration solution, which honestly is not insignificant. So it's I still am a little bit teetering on like having it available. Like maybe I'll have it available as an add-on, right? For an extra cost. A lot of people have asked if I'll just sell it, and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna take your money for literally some salt water that's been stabilized. Come on.
There are customers that will want that. There are customers that won't want to use the reagent without a cal solution. I get that. But then for those who are totally comfortable rolling their own, using alternative tests, I can't see why that wouldn't be a cool option to offer.
Some of the the people who have really started to latch on recently, um, which I never really thought of, were people who service aquariums.
Hmm.
I talk to these people regularly, right? Because their profit margin has now just gone up.
Oh, absolutely. They love you.
Yeah,
Yep.
right? So
That's
this
amazing.
this isn't for the common folk that are probably
Happy
listening.
to Thanksgiving to them.
Happy Thanksgiving to them is right. I mean, their profit margin just literally went through the roof. But you know what? I'm happy to help those. Those are the people who are paying other people to service their aquariums. That's not who I made this reagent for in the first place.
Yep.
Right. So I made it for people who, wanted to be able to buy a cool system that I just bought another one. Actually, I got 4 now. So
Nice.
you know, it
You're a good customer.
I am. I am. I'm now I had a power bar go out, so
Send it to me.
I'm
Now,
I'm interested.
I won't be as responsive as you, but if you're handy with the soldering iron, it's super easy. I think Phil Reefkeeper's in. He just did one.
Yeah. All right.
And it's funny, you were talking about responsiveness. I was sent one, and I have another one here, and I have another one behind me. It's interesting how many of these things show up. But
Well, it makes me concerned about. I mean, what's the deal? That's another topic. Let's not
going
talk
on
it.
to, well, I could share EBA 32s.
Yeah.
There's 2 different versions that I'm aware of. One of them has a super shitty transformer rectifier in it, and the other one has a better transformer rectifier in it. And you can take out, and during a power outage or a blip or something.
Yes, that's when it happens.
Yeah, the older EBA 32s with that shitty transformer rectifier will break. No more 12 volts. So if you don't have 12 volts, your relays don't work anymore. It thinks it's working, but the relays aren't activating. So if you take out that shitty transformer rectifier and then you just put in a good one, which is a Meanwell, then it works perfectly.
No
I
shit.
think Neptune should do that for free. I think it's a dick move that they created this device with
It's a fucking expensive power strip
with a shitty part inside, and then they charge people $100 to whatever. It's over $100 for them to repair this thing. When I do it for free, I bought the parts, and I do the work for free, and I just charge shipping. And if I'm slow, they get it for free. I don't charge them shipping, and I'm usually slow.
Really effing kind of you.
I just think somebody should fix those things.
Ironically, so you've been talking about power backup, right?
Yeah.
So I have been listening into you, but I have also been thinking the same thing. I just out of need. Not to mention, we have a well pump here at the house we live at, and a basement with a sump. So I mean, it was power backup and generator and all that stuff was not removed, even without a reef tank. Anyway, I put in a sub panel with a generator. It's not an automatic transfer. So I mean, somebody's got to be here, but it's freaking awesome.
No,
so I've got a sub panel now with all of my tanks, all of my essentials in my house. I literally just roll out my 10K watt generator, turn it on, plug it in, flip my switches.
Done. See, I roll sloppy. Wait, let me get back to Phil real quick, and then I'll come back to this. Phil asked, could Neptune do something to the Trident to kick you out? I think no, but I think if they're working on a device to multi-measure beyond what they're measuring right now, if that device contains alkalinity, calcium, magnesium, there's a potential for them to do it differently such that it potentially that they just delay your entry into that new device.
Let me answer that.
Current device, they can't do anything.
I welcome any changes and anything that they possibly want to do. I'm not going to give them any ammo. I know what I would do if I were them. to make it a little bit more challenging. But in the reality is if they change something, they're going to piss off a lot of people.
Yep.
A lot of people, right? They're going to, and it's only a matter of time before all of their effort was actually a waste of time.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know that they would do anything with the old device.
I
could see them doing something with a new device, but
a new device, sure. You know what? You want to change your recipe on your new device, and you have, I don't know how many people have these current systems out there right now.
Right.
Right. I mean,
I have a broken one. You want to fix it?
What's wrong with it?
I don't know. Somebody said it to me. I haven't looked at it. I think somebody put the wrong wires and went.
Oh, well, that'll do it.
That'll do it.
But no, I mean, in all reality, if they change something, I mean, I think it's a lose. We talked about this a little bit on the last stream.
Yep.
It's a lose for everybody. I think they end up looking bad on it, and I will figure it out.
Yep.
Right? I will figure it out.
One way or another.
Yeah. No, hey, another thing, I think you have something more to say, but a lot of people send me stuff. A lot of people message me about sending me stuff to figure out. I take on some of them. Others, I'm like, I don't have the time. You sent me something recently. I would recommend go get the ICP on that.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
All right.
Yep.
Because there's absolutely no organic content in there. There's nothing magical. I did some reading on that. Yeah.
I'm gonna queue up 3 ICPs and see what that looks like.
Yeah.
We just got hit with a XXX20.site spammeroonie.
What's that mean?
They had some. It was in chat. They had some. They wanted us to go look at some fancy ladies, I believe.
Oh, nice.
So I hit that. Back to power real quick. So airplane hit a pole. You may have seen that in the news.
I did.
So, I mean, I know where that airport is. I've flown out of that airport in a little Cessna with my kid once.
Freaking sweet.
Yeah. So, and then I watched some of the air traffic control stuff for that plane trying to come in. I know the day it was above ground winds were high because they were starting to drop down. It was super cloudy. Low, the cloud deck was low. The fog hadn't come in yet, but the cloud deck was low, 2,000-3,000 feet or so. And that plane was having a hell of a... It was just starting to get dark, too. It was dark when they were trying to do what they were doing. That was tough conditions for that pilot, and that pilot couldn't hang. And then dropped... The air traffic control was yelling at him. There was 2 times. Below minimums, pull up, and then, of course, they hit a pole. So...
Oh, no.
Airplane hits main transmission line in my county, Montgomery County, Maryland. And power goes out. We had just got back from a Thanksgiving trip. Have you ever used Turo? We're going way off topic.
Yeah, no.
You can rent other people's cars. So I'm half shopping for a car to replace a minivan.
I've heard of this.
So
I would never let a stranger drive my effing car, by the way.
I might, depending on what car it is, but I rented somebody's car for a 4-day weekend. So, which was awesome. I enjoyed it. That was a cool opportunity. I like test driving a car, and when I test drive a car, they usually call me. Are you bringing my car back? Because I go for a while. In this particular case, I had the thing for 4 days, so it was awesome. But we're taking that car back, and my kid calls me just as my phone starts blowing up because all my work stuff starts blowing up, right? I get all those calls.
Sure, exactly.
Or those texts. And then he's like, power's out. I don't know what's up. I'm like, look outside. He's like, seems dark. So, and we had no idea how long power was going to be out.
Right.
Because it's main transmission lines. The plane's hanging from the pole.
What?
Yeah, it was hanging from the wires. It hits the pole and then just sort of slides on the wires and stops. And it's right there at the pole, stuck.
Are they okay?
Yeah, well, yeah, they lived. They were old. There were a couple of 60-somethings. They were fine. They lived. They got hurt, and they got hypothermia because they were up there for like 7 hours. But
oh, shit.
Yep. whatever. They lived. That's cool.
All right.
They built a
So we
plane.
can keep
Nice
going
plane. That's too bad.
yeah.
But I'm preaching all the time. Power, 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 power.
Yeah.
Everything in my house goes down except for the tanks because the tanks are all in batteries. And my kid's like, stuff's beeping. I was like, that's good news. So the tank in the garage is on UPS. The tanks downstairs are on their own. And then there's a small UPS on the tank upstairs just to keep it going.
Cool.
I come home, pull out the generator. And I'm like, well, this is going to last until tomorrow. So, and we just got back. We had leftovers. I wanted to keep my turkey. So I'm like, well, I guess we should power the fridge. So I get everything running with the generator I have at the house. Then I run over to the RV and get the other portable out of that. And I can parallel the two generators so they share that load. And then I run everything else up to the refrigerator, whatever, both fridges, and everything was done. I hooked up the garage door opener so I had a light in my garage and could open and close the garage, that kind of stuff. Anything I needed to power. Had it gone longer and had it been colder, I could have hooked up the furnace too, a gas furnace.
You've got gas? Yep.
Yeah.
Us too.
So, I mean, we could have basically had the whole house with two little portables.
Yeah.
But I never lose power here. Like, the only other time I've lost power, a significant power outage, was when I got 4 feet of snow out here 10 years ago.
Right.
I don't lose power. A lot of the people that I preach this, too much, just enough, whatever. And people are like, I never lose power. Sam's one of them. No. Sam's like, I'm in Vegas. I never lose power. I'm like, you look. The one when I moved west, when I moved to California, I came over the hill. Looking at Vegas, I was like, damn, that's Vegas, because I'd never seen it before. Boop, all the power goes out.
Yeah.
I'm like, it can happen. It doesn't matter where you live.
I mean, for us, it's streaky, but I can tell you, like, it's paid for itself. Literally, like, I mean, I used to have to drag my generator across the property, run extension cords through the windows and all that stuff. And, I was able to make it work. We're different, right? We lose power. We don't have water. That sucks.
That well pump.
We have a sump that is on battery backup. I can't afford to have my basement flood.
Yep.
Out here. All right. So anyway, the heck with fish tanks. We got, those kind of power issues.
Yeah, but you got that going now too.
But I mean, it was long overdue. I should have done it a long time ago, and I can't say how happy. Power went out a few weeks ago. We had a windstorm. Yep. I don't know. It was maybe only out a few hours, but I can tell you, it was the most. I was like, really? It was sweet, dude.
Yeah,
I literally just
it's a good feeling.
It was like 2 minutes. I moved the thing. I have to be there, right? I think it cost me total, and I mean total, $2,000 for a 10K generator, which was $1,000. I paid a friend to help me install the sub panel with the 10 circuits that I wanted on there. So whatever, right? 2K.
No, that's awesome. That's good.
It's not automatic, but
it's money well spent.
Yeah.
And you can teach, like, if you have neighbors. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, they came over.
Yeah, you teach your neighbors, or they come hang out with you because you got power in your house.
Yep, they came over.
That's what we did when we had that snowstorm one. That's what we did because we had a wood fireplace, so we fired up the fireplace. Gas still worked. And then neighbors came over. We had hot dogs, whatever. That's what we did. Oh, that's cool. I should do that. I don't know. The extension cord shuffle's pretty easy. I'm in a small house. I'm in a townhouse, so extension cord shuffle's pretty easy. Everything worked out perfectly. I actually have both generators. The generator that was living in the back of the RV, it must have got shook around too much, and it needed oil. That was my only challenge. I was like, this thing won't start after about 50 pulls. I'm like, something's up. Check the oil. It was low.
Yeah.
That was my only challenge.
No, I mean,
But
I would. Hey, bottom line is reefers, for the most part, got a little bit of extra cash to spend,
even
right?
if it's just $300,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, I'm with you on the whole power thing.
I
Absolutely.
finally convinced Moki, dude is 7-8 miles from my house. I mean, he's just down the road. Finally convinced him to buy a generator.
Dude, I mean, again, we're different. We lose power, we lose water,
yeah.
and I risk my basement. But nah,
See, now I
game
got to
changer.
go over there and teach him how to hook up his furnace so he can keep that going when the snow shows up. That'll be a thing, because when power went
No,
out, he actually had power.
we actually, you know what? We're lucky. It powers so many of our circuits that unless we go to our second floor, we actually don't even know that we lost power.
Nice.
Internet, TV. I mean,
See, internet was down for us because that main transmission also fed everything else. So we lost mobile phone. We didn't have any mobile phone service, and which was interesting. And then we also lost Fios. Fios was down.
yeah,
I got a text from Fios that Fios was down, but of course I didn't get the
course.
text because everything was whatever. I had to leave my house and walk down the road to be able to get any kind of cell service at all, which is what I had to do because of work. Oh yeah, so yeah, good talk about ABC Reagents.
Yeah, no. I mean, I was actually I was tempted, and I didn't do it. Maybe we can devise an offer here, but I was thinking maybe we could offer a special for the concentrate to your viewers right now. Here, maybe I might have to get on my phone and set it up.
Got a coupon code?
Not even a code.
All right.
But maybe just for the rest of the evening until, yeah, give me a second. I'll have to enter it, but Eastern time until 11:59. I don't know. The Black Friday specials, it's tough for me to go lower than that. I mean, it really is. I mean, I don't think people realize it's like I've got costs and,
Yeah.
So
pick your number.
ABC shirt. If you text me after you make your order, I'll throw in a shirt, whatever size you want. ABC shirt. Let's pick a number here. The Black Friday was $175, and if I recall, you did the math and you said that was 1/3 of the cost.
It was really cheap.
It was effing ridiculous. I can't go much lower. I mean, I can't give it away.
No. Don't give it away.
Yeah, I can't. But on the other hand, I also want to reward the people who have listened tonight. So, yeah, let's do it. 175. I'll put it in the system right now. Send me if you end up making an order and you want a t-shirt, let me know what size you want. I'll throw that in with your order.
Nice.
But yeah,
I'm not posting this. You hear to hear, and it's word of mouth from here.
Yeah, no, and that's the way I want it. We don't need it we don't need it celebrated.
That's awesome. Thanks.
Yeah.
I should buy it.
I'll do it. I'll do it when the stream's over. So
okay.
Anybody.
11:59. After post order, tell Jonas that you ordered. You get a shirt, whatever. And what was your price?
175 plus the shipping.
175 plus shipping. Hit them up post order for a free shirt, and that's awesome. Thank you.
Yep. And Rogue Aquariums is hitting me up. Calm down, bro.
I am curious if their temperature swing the reagents can be subjected to. What are you worried about? Wintertime shipping? Is that the question, Rogue Aquariums? Phil Reefkeeper says I should buy a Trident just to get this special in a t-shirt. Yeah, so are you impacted by wintertime shipping when you're shipping liquids?
One of the reagents is subject to temperature? Yeah, that's a good question. From a freezing standpoint,
Yeah.
not heat.
Okay.
Yeah, I've all of these things I've had, I
Sure.
keep them not frozen. Um, yeah,
But the dry
I'm learning these.
product, dry product, right? You can
Well,
ship
no,
the dry product
so
cold, or
well, you mentioned dry product, so because the concentrate is a mixture of liquids and solids.
oh,
Yes, there's a little bit of liquid as well.
please
Those
ignore
won't
my
freeze.
ignorance.
No, that's fine. Those
Hmm.
won't freeze. The
Okay.
pre-made reagents, though,
Yeah.
there is a slight risk of freezing depending on the temperature for one of the reagents.
Okay.
That is something, I mean, I said earlier, like I've refined my. Earlier today, I literally got to the point where I was like, this is so freaking perfect. It's ridiculous. Like the next batch that somebody gets, I mean, literally, you put it in and you shouldn't need to calibrate. I mean, you should. You will to get accurate, but
Yep.
so freaking close.
What's the shelf life of the concentrate kit? So if
No.
people order a kit,
Yeah.
and because they just got in, somebody just Wade mentioned that just got into Apex but doesn't have a Trident. If you're considering a Trident, shelf life is indefinite ish.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, come on, forever. We talked about this. Forever is a ridiculous word.
It is.
I'm not going to say never, but for all intents and purposes, if you're not storing it out in the sun in the summertime, sitting there cooking and basting, and actually, to be honest, in recent weeks here, I've actually cooked the reagents at an elevated temperature for a prolonged period of time to accelerate what I would call stress studies.
Yep.
And they work just fine.
Awesome.
So, I mean, I have a batch right now that I always refer to. People ask me like, "Oh, well, what's the reagent life?" It's 3 years old, and it still works just fine. I'm pretty sure it's gonna make it to 4. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how long everybody wants this to last, but to be honest, I have made I mean, that's been part of my product development. I have actually made some recent recipe changes, especially for the concentrate.
Yeah.
To where they will last a very, very long time.
All right. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wish I had a Trident.
Well,
I guess I wish I had a Trident that worked.
Well,
but then I'd have to keep the Apex. I like hooked up all the time. I have one hooked up right now. Actually, I always have two. I have the old Apex, which the Trident won't work with. But the old Apex is bulletproof. It never drops offline. It never does anything stupid. It's an amazing little box.
I'll tell you what.
The new one,
Hey, you know somebody that knows how to make some reagents. So
yeah. One day.
Well, it'll pay for itself in, I don't know, a couple of months based on their prices.
That's true, but I didn't buy anything. You look. What'd you buy for Black Friday? Did you buy anything for Black Friday?
Did I buy
anything from whatever, all of November until like
I just got done telling you. I literally I put a Black Friday special out on Monday, and I'm not effing shitting you. I literally and the family packed packages until Saturday evening and I'm not kidding, a few hours of sleep.
Yep.
It about made me tap out. I mean, it was. Which was good. I'm happy everybody got like some crazy ridiculous deals. But it took a lot out of me. I mean,
I was a bum and I did take a nap. I'm sorry. And I didn't buy anything. Like all these hype sales and all this stuff. I bought, what did I buy? I bought a TDS meter from Amazon.
Okay.
Because it was cheap.
Well, was it any different from the one that you currently had?
I needed a double, so I wanted to be able to do something different with
Okay.
because
Okay.
I'm the new tank. I'm setting up a new tank.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah, I
I
know.
put a fish in.
I've been following closely. I
I
like
put a
it.
fish and a coral in there today. But I'm driving the ATO directly from my water. I'm not pumping it from a jug. So when it needs water, it takes water. That kind of thing. It's got to float.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll add a solenoid to make it safer, but right now it's just the float.
Cool.
I wanted to be able to see, and I run 2 DI canisters. So, right, upstream is the RO, downstream DI, and I run 2 DI. I know what it is coming out of the RO because I got a dual TDS there, and then I wanted to see in between the DIs because the first one will go bad first, and then I wanted to make sure that the output after the second is still clean. So that tells me when I need to change the first one.
I like it. Yeah.
Well, I want to know. I want to make sure that the water's clean. I don't want to rely on a single one. But so that was my one Amazon purchase, I think. And then I bought a lid from Clearview Lids. They're local. They're in Virginia here. So I bought a lid for the new tank.
I like the light testing that you're doing too. All that stuff is so again, I mean I'm hoping that I eventually have some time to become a hobbyist again.
Yeah.
Which I can tell you my tanks have taken a back seat, but yeah, no, following a lot of your stuff, the light testing that's been quite informative. I need to hook up. I've been trying to get a hold of Luca here.
Yep.
Luca, when you get time, bro, get me a ring, dude. I need some lights. I've got some schwank lights on one of my tanks, and I'm sick of them.
I got 3 of his just temporarily hung up so I can see and play with them. But I'm gonna test that 3-pack because that spectrum looks pretty damn good. But I want to test that 3-pack 24 inchers, and then I have the Refi Uno. I have another one here that I can't remember the name of it. I have the fake Radeon up here that I need to test. I have a broken blue XR15 blue that I need to fix.
Interesting.
And then there's a Reef Factory, their big light, the L blue downstairs, that I've been playing with a little bit. That's new to the US. Kind of a cool light. So, yeah, I mean, I have some to play with. There's another one. Oh, I've got a Metris. I've got a 7204 GHL Metris here. I have asked in the past manufacturers to, I'll buy a light just to test it. I've done that. But I don't need to do that every time. Let me test a light and I'll pay for shipping. You send me a demo light and I'll test. Only GHL. Actually, that's not true now. But GHL in the past, they bit. GHL treats me well. So I get a light. I pay for shipping both ways. And that gives me a cool opportunity. ATI didn't do that, but another reefer hooked me up with a Stratton so I could test that. That was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, lights are fun.
Yeah.
It causes a lot of ruckus.
A lot of ruckus.
People,
I know.
I
think what people don't realize is I follow a lot. I listen to the conversations. I don't participate. That's my personal choice. I choose not to, right? Once I insert myself.
Don't get caught up in the crazy.
Exactly. There's too much. So I mean, and especially when it's related to me and my product, I do my best to at least, if it's negative in any way, shape, or form, I want to address it. So that's my main goal.
Yep.
I truly feel, and any customer out there who knows me or who has purchased from me or who has had any issue or question, any way, shape, or form, I would like to think that they can attest to this, that like they can get a hold of me. I'm super freaking responsive, and I'm I'm going to make sure that you're taken care of no matter what.
See, that
I've
raises
had,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, I've had a few customers who have attempted to take advantage of my generosity. I've had people who have seen on forums where they're like, oh, if you have a leak, they'll just send you a whole bunch of new stuff. I had somebody like a month ago, a couple weeks ago, send me a picture of reagent bottles that literally looked like they were just run under the sink with sink water and all wet on the outside. And I had to respond to them and I said, I'm a little confused because all these reagents are highly colored. And, you know, that's all clear water. Like, you know, what's going on?
Yeah.
Nothing. No response. So, I mean, every once in a while I get those customers. I'm going to go ahead and say 95 to 99% of all customers have been super appreciative, super cool. It's the few that start to ruin it for the rest, just like every other thing in the world, right? And yeah,
so
frustrating.
You raise an interesting point, and actually help me with my dilemma. Here's my dilemma. So the narrative is reefing is expensive, and that's bullshit.
No,
so
it's not. It doesn't have to be.
I got a nice tank in a stand for 40% off. So I paid whatever, $1,500 for my fancy 100 gallon, which is the nicest fish tank I've ever had, ever. And the stand, Innovative Marine. Really like that tank. I don't know different other than like what I see at other people's house, like Lynn's or Moki's or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's nice. It's cool. So then I find myself at this interesting crossroad because I got a hand-me-down sump from Moki. So I'm still at whatever, we'll say at $1,500. I have two XR30 Gen 4s and a Sky, and they're all three are on the rail and they're ready to go. But now, because of like, I mean, you touched on it. You're like, you're approachable. You're a real person. You're somebody that we can reach out to for help. Now I'm in a position where I kind of want to just, I mean, other than J-Bo, because you're not going to reach out for anybody, but I want to make this like, if I made this tank a mom and pop tank, what would that look like? And it would look like reagents from you on it for a device I don't have. So I'd have to rectify that. And then I would use
you have a broken one, right?
I have a broken one.
Okay.
Refi Uno.
Yeah.
Along with Lucas Quantas, which I already have. Both of those.
Yeah.
I would just probably need to get a couple more Refi Unos just so I'd have three, just so I can turn them down. And then J-Bos for my pumps. And so I end up with a really nice tank for very little money.
Well, I mean, the first part you kicked off with was the expensive tank portion. I would argue that you could go cheaper on that.
Oh, I could absolutely go cheaper, but I was like, damn, that's nice, and it's 40% off, so I bought it. It fits nice on the wall too. Oh, you could absolutely go. Oh, you totally go cheaper.
The hobby doesn't have to. I mean, I've learned this much. I'm not going to claim to be an expert, but the hobby doesn't have to be expensive.
No, not at all.
It doesn't have to be at all.
I don't like when I don't know. It's like you need this, you need this, you need that. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
You don't need that.
No.
In fact, I'm thinking about a mom and pop tank.
My tanks have been a little bit happier since I quit fucking with them and been so busy with this business.
Yeah, see?
Every once in a while I'm like, oh, hey, shit, man. You guys like it when I don't mess with you, huh?
ABC saved your tank.
Yeah, exactly.
With all 5 of your automatic testing devices.
It's 4 right now, but yeah. Yeah, no, it's been a wild, wild ride. I think for me, the biggest thing so far that has given me like satisfaction after just, I mean, sure, I reverse engineered somebody's reagents. Mm-hmm. Okay. It wasn't that crazy.
And it wasn't even their reagents, in all fairness.
No, they didn't invent any of these chemicals. We talked about this on the first stream.
Yep.
There's no IP. There's no patent. They can't patent it. Otherwise, they probably should have and would have. That's besides the point. Bottom line is, yeah, it's
an option, and it improves access. Period.
It improves it. Exactly. Same quality, if not better.
If not better.
Cheaper.
Tweaked recipes.
Yeah. No, I mean, in all transparency, no, I'm intentionally tweaking it to make it. I mean, if somebody were to ask me what's the difference, I would say mine are better now at this point.
Yep.
Originally, I would have said they're identical. I've learned a little bit. I'm a scientist.
There you go.
I'm not going to stop. Right?
No, I get it.
I mean, I'm not going to stop. And I've gotten to the point now where, this latest one, after today's experiments, I'm excited for that next person to get a concentrate or whatever batch. I mean, it's you won't know the difference.
That's awesome. Yeah, see, Luca's kind of the same way because he's always refining and making better, and he's
cool dude. I got to go to Mackinac. I brought my family to Mackinac. We drove up to Milwaukee.
Yep.
We met with that was the beginning of the Coral View collaboration deal.
Uh-huh.
And I got to hang out with Rob.
Yeah, Rob's here.
There?
Rob's here.
Yeah. Dude, we went to a sweet dinner spot in Milwaukee.
Nice.
Those guys were, some of your boys were, that was fun.
Those are good dudes. I've hung out with Rob. I've not met Luca in person yet.
No?
No,
cool,
Rob,
dude.
Rob comes out here and he works, and I'm lucky enough to catch up with him whenever I'm not, whatever. I wish I had more time for him.
Yeah, we had a good time. That was fun. That was a lot of fun.
I'm thinking about Mackinac this year. I'm thinking about Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Thinking about it.
I'll see you there.
Okay.
I'll see you there. I don't want to jump it, but I mean, I'd like to make it there.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
All right, we're at an hour and 45.
I'm good, man.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
I appreciate that you're approachable. I appreciate that you're a person with a name and you can get a hold of you, because I'm starting to move away from the faceless whatevers who are trying to sell me things, because I don't know who you are. So why should I listen and trust that kind of thing? So I appreciate that you're approachable.
Thanks, man. Hey, good to catch up with you again.
Yeah, same.
And I think when we'll see what happens in a few months, but there might be a part 3.
Right on. I look forward to that.
Yeah, there will be. We'll see where it goes, but there's a lot of exciting things happening real soon. So
that's awesome. Happy for you. Happy for your cooperation with Coral View. I think that's good. Yeah. Happy to see them handling some of the distribution.
Yep. It's going to be good for everybody.
Yeah.
It's going to be good for everybody.
That's awesome. All right, y'all. Go ahead. You can sign us off, Jonas.
I was going to say, take care, Jim. Appreciate time, and we'll be in touch, man.
Yeah, sounds good. Hang on just a second. I'm going to kick everybody else out. So thanks, y'all. Thanks for hanging out. Good crowd tonight. I don't think I missed any questions. If I did, feel free to please throw them at Jonas. He'll take care of you. Other than that, happy reefing, y'all. Be kind. Thanks. And now I have to fumble around for a minute to turn this off.
I get it.
See? Mm-hmm.